Hi there. So the next step in the process is actually to cut out the strips that you need for the build. So now I have set up the planking for sewing the strips for the kayak. I mounted a saw blade with many teeth to make the cuts smooth and fine and not so coarse. So let's start. I make sure that the blade cuts away only 5 millimeters, as that is the required width of the strips. After that, you're supposed to set up the strongback, but I already have a strongback, so I don't need to do that. But I'm just going to talk a bit about it if you don't have a strongback. As you see, this is 2 pieces of wood screwed together in the ends. I have also equipped mine with wheels, so I can move the strongback in and out of the garage. As I have used my strongback for other building projects before, I need to take away the remainings from those buildings first, before I can set up for this one. So now I got a clean strongback where I can place the bulkheads using this technique. I plan to build this kayak in 2 pieces. It's too long to fit in my garage, and the garage is 5 meters and 70 centimeters, and the kayak is over 6 meters. It turned out that I did another mistake when cutting out the bulkheads. The bow and the stern, they can be cut out this way in a particle board. However, if you do, you need to laminate these pieces, and that will be a bit messy because then you need to use epoxy, and I will try to limit the usage of epoxy as much as possible and use it as few times as possible. The other way to do it is to cut out the whole piece in spruce. However, I don't have any planks as wide as this to cut it out in spruce. And also another thing that is bad with cutting out such a wide piece in spruce is that it will bend when the humidity changes. So it's almost impossible to get it flat. So the third option is to cut out the same piece in plywood instead. And that is what I'm going to do. Unfortunately, I don't have any 12mm plywood, which had been the best, as that is thickness of the particle board. But I have 10mm, and I think that will have to do. So this is left over from me building the catamaran, and I think this will be just the perfect size that I need. So once again, I need the blueprints. So now I will use packing tape to separate the pieces that are going to be built into your kayak from the pieces that are going to be left outside the kayak. And to make it easy to see my lines, which are going to be used to adjust the pieces together, I use clear packing tape here. So this will keep the epoxy from sticking. I think this will be strong enough. Now that I have placed the strongback high up, I can easily work around it, and I'm going to mount bulkheads. For this kayak, the bulkheads are 490 millimeters apart. So I'm gonna mark out where to place them. So I place the middle point on the line, marked 2 marks 7 centimeters from the middle line to the left and 7 centimeters from the middle line to the right. Then I measure the distance from starting point to this place, and that's 497 millimeters, and it's 496 to this, but then I have adjusted the lines a little bit, and now the distance is 497, 497 and 490. So now it should be placed exactly where it needs to be. Then I draw a reference line here to make sure that even if I touch everything a little bit, I can get back to the exact same position. So that was one. So the next one should be placed roughly here. And the middle point 98.3.5, 98.6. This needs to go back, this needs to go forward. So 98.7, 98.7. Now I'm reaching the end of my measuring device. I can't go any further than 240 centimeters. What to do? I start measuring from the first station instead. So now one could say I would be finished. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.5, 7 stations or positions for the bulkheads. The problem is that, or I want to add another one actually, because as I'm making a divisible kayak, I want to have the 8th bulkhead here, just to steer the connection in place, which I'm planning on building. So I will put in just another bulkhead. These screws might be a bit oversized, but I use them anyway. So now all the stations are in place to fasten the bulkheads. Now I just need to mark the center line again, as it has moved 0.5 millimeter or so on some of the stations. So now I'm done with putting out the stations to fasten bulkheads, and I'm just gonna do final check to see that I haven't messed anything up. Just check that there is 490 between for some reason I got it a bit wrong. It's actually 3 millimeters too far that way. Must have moved it while measuring. Okay. So let's spread the bulkheads. This one should go here. No. Made some wrong. So this is 12, this is 11, this is 10, this is 9, this is 8, and then this should be 7, but 7.5 should be here and not there. Oh, to change everything again. Or not everything, but a few things. You don't need to watch this. So back again where I left you. Now I have adjusted the heads that were a little bit wrong. So it's 490 millimeters between each bulkhead or station. And we have 7.5 where it should be. So now it's just to start aligning. So now I think I'm pretty close. Actually spot on. There you got it. Just to make it a bit easier for you to see, put the light out again. And I hardly can see myself, but this is a bulkhead 11. I think this should go up just a millimeter or so. And then I will check if it's vertical all right. Now number 10. I think this is right, but I need to light up to make sure. Now should be lowered a bit here. Now I'm happy. Need more clamps. Yeah, that's perfect. Number 9, and there you go. Number 8. This was the one that I had to move 3 millimeter forward. Now the last real one. Of course I made a mistake now as well. I positioned the bulkhead on the wrong side of the station. That should be easy to manage. What I want to do now first is to position the keel strip first, making sure that the distance between the bulkheads are 490 millimeters, making sure that they are vertical, correct, this way. Oh, I almost forgot an important step, and that is to cover everything in masking tape. Otherwise I will glue the bulkheads to should be 490. And it is about 1 millimeter wrong. So it's good that I do this. It needs to be moved really much. Let's check that it's 49 down here, but up here it's 48.7. So I think this looks pretty good. So here I got the deck line marking, or the marking between the deck and the rest of the boat. This one already there, and I think this seems like a really nice bend, so I think I'm quite happy. So the next thing I want to do now is to screw all the boards on the bulkheads in place and not rely on the clamps. So now I have screwed all the bulkheads in place. I'm happy with the fitting. Everything seems straight and according to the plan. So next time we'll start stripping, or put the strips in place.